If I was your career counselor and I knew that you had gotten your college acceptance letters over the weekend and you were trying to decide which college is the best fit for you, I have a few tips. I am driving. I won't be looking at you. I'm just going to ramble. So here goes. Number 1, how did you choose the colleges that you applied to? Did you choose them because of their name, their ranking, because it's your dream school, whatever that means? Or did you read the curriculum and the classes and choose based on the skills that you'll be learning to build a resume to get a job where you want to work? In my opinion, going to college is about buying time with professors who share interests that you have, and it's about buying time to learn a set of skills that is relevant to build job skills to where you want to work. So if you've been following me for a while, I'm both pro and con college. It just really depends on the student, their goals, the industry. Obviously, if you want to go into a licensed or professional career that has testing and licenses to regulate the profession, then you need a college degree because that's the requirement to go into that licensed or credentialed or highly regulated degree or profession. If you're going into a profession that does not have a license associated, there's some flexibility with how you gain resume skills. I'm a huge fan of community college for that purpose. I'm a huge fan of just taking classes that you want to learn in a classroom setting and that you want to learn from professors who are experts in the field. And I'm also a big fan of self-learning. There are so many skills now that we can learn on our own that we do not need a degree. So, for example, if you're going to go into anything, let's just say in the art realm, you can do a full-fledged college degree, or you can just take classes that you are interested in minus all the general education or minus the classes that you just really don't feel you want to be paying for or buying time with a professor for, and you'd rather learn on your own or bypass it completely. Because there are a lot of college, professions that want you to have skills, and if you can do the job, it often doesn't matter if you have the degree. Even if a job does require a degree, I always encourage people to challenge that if it's not a licensed profession. Obviously, to be a nurse, for example, you have to have passed the nursing exam. You have to have a nursing license. Like, we don't want people just saying, well, I could do that, I self-taught myself, and showing up and being a nurse. That's a highly regulated field. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about jobs where lots of different majors could do that job because they've gained skills and amassed skills that enable them to perform the tasks. So my number 1 tip for choosing a college is really reading the course curriculum and saying, like, okay, I want to get a bachelor's degree in biology, but biology in and of itself is not getting you a licensed or credentialed position in and of itself when you graduate, right? Like, it's not, every biology program throughout the nation looks different. It has different professors with different interests, different research that they're studying. It has different textbooks that you're going to read. And so ultimately you have to look at the classes and be like, okay, in 4 years, these are all the skills that I'll have. Like, the syllabus of a class is outcomes that you are learning. Like, you can read the course objectives. Those are resume skills that can go directly on a resume. So at the end of 4 years, if your goal was to study biology and then go on to to medical school, and you decide, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like blood. I don't want to go to school. I want to go a different direction. I'm done after 4 years. What are you going to do with the 4 years of a biology degree? You have to make sure that the 4 years you're purchasing are classes with skills that you actually want to use. There are many jobs you can do with a bachelor's degree in biology, but a lot of times students are just like, oh, I did all of this to prepare for pre-med or for medical school, and now I don't want to do that. What did I pay for? And it's just kind of random stuff that you never would have picked. And so I always suggest that these 4 years that you're actually like looking at the course curriculum, because at the end of the day, if you're not going into a licensed profession, it's like, okay, what skills did I end up with? So for example, when I went to college, I was very deliberate about picking the classes that I took. I knew I wanted to do something maybe with youth. I knew I wanted to do something maybe with delinquency. I knew I wanted to do something maybe with research and statistics. And so I really chose every class deliberately and tried to take as many classes that I could use to build a resume. And then when I applied for jobs, I was really able to take those learning outcomes from the syllabus and be like, I have experience in these very specific things because I was very deliberate about the classes that I chose. It didn't matter that my degree was sociology or I had a minor in criminology as much as it did I have these skills, and I was able to take those skills and apply them to lots of different jobs in lots of different capacities. And, you know, the professors at my university that I ended up going to were specialized in very niche things. And in retrospect, maybe those weren't the things that I was most passionate about, but I didn't really know what I wanted. I didn't have the knowledge I have now. And so my sociology program was really around a lot of research with like victimology, deviance. I was very interested in that, but I mean, ultimately I ended up not working in that area. But if someone wanted to study sociology and something else, it probably wasn't the best fit for them. Whereas at another university, if they were studying, let's say, I don't know, they were studying, sorry, I just drew a blank because I'm driving. Let's say their research really focused on equality. That would be a better school for that person. And so you really have to look at your professor's research and try to figure out what school is best for you. So my number one tip, I'm just rambling at this point, but the number one tip really is read those course descriptions and try to find professors that are studying the things that you're interested in, what their background is. So for example, let me give a business example. If you're trying to compare between two schools that offer a business degree, you want to look at their concentrations. You want to look at the professor's research, where they've worked in the past, because you could be taking classes mainly from professors who have experience working with banks and commerce and economics and, you know, all things finance and money, and like that's their area, stock exchange, like that's their area of expertise. Or you could be working with professors who are very passionate about business as it relates to nonprofits. Or maybe there's a bunch of faculty who are really involved in sports marketing and they work in the business world with a lot of big sports teams. Or maybe you have professors that are highly rooted in the hospitality industry and they do a lot of work with the hospitality majors and do a lot of cross-promoting of each other's programs. So you really have to look and see what your university specializes in. So many families, so this is tip number 2, don't just choose a college based on their football team, the vibe, if you like the dorms and the meal plan. Like, that's investing in a vacation. That's not investing in an education. And a way to build your resumes. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't feel comfortable where you're at, you shouldn't enjoy your experience, but I see so many families and so many students saying like, oh, my kid didn't get into their dream school, they're so bummed. And really their dream school was just like, oh, I went to a football game once in 7th grade and it's always been my dream school. Or for me, it was, oh, my dream school is where my cousin went to college because like she was the first person to get a university degree. And I spent time with her there a few summers when she worked in the residence halls, and it's like it was the only place I really knew coming from a small town, and it was at the ocean, and like I don't know, I just picked it because it was cool and nice and pretty. I was very naive. I didn't know what else there was. I ended up transferring because I hated it, but that's a different story. But try not to get swept up in that dream school and really think about, could I save a lot of money and go to my community college? Could I save a lot of money and go to my state school? Could I go do work away where you barter exchange for room and board and go to a community college in a different area away from home while living with another family, being a nanny, cooking and cleaning, just being in the house with an elderly person who just needs someone to do their shopping and be there at night just in case. Like there's so many amazing opportunities to leave home without paying a ton of money just to live a vacation lifestyle at a dream school. And I think families really get caught up in this illusion of college needing to be a very expensive vacation. I know it's a fun time to grow and experience life and make lifelong friends and try new things, but if that's the only reason, a lot of times, like I'll see students want to go, like I saw someone writing about how their daughter's going to go to NYU and pay out-of-state tuition to be a teacher, and I was just like, that's a really bad idea, because you're not going to get a better paying job necessarily because you went to NYU. You're going to be paying out-of-state tuition, and NYU is one of the most expensive schools, and you're going out of state, and then if you want to go back home, your teaching credential may not be valid there. So there are certain professions, yes. So I guess this is tip number 3. There are certain professions that are really good to go out of state or pay extra tuition for because they're so niche, they're so different. You're going to be studying with professors that are the only people in the nation maybe who might be studying something you're really interested in. Yes, by all means, but for very common things that are in demand, like I really can't advise dumping $80,000, $90,000, however much NYU is a year to be a teacher, because that's just insane in my opinion. You do you if that's your area of interest, but I think it's really important to consider all options. Another option that I think so many families don't think about, like a lot of students in our area do not want to stay local. They want to leave, which is understandable. That's my daughter as well. She's looking at plans to leave maybe next year, because there's just not a lot of classes that she's interested in at our local community colleges. She kind of already ran out at one school, and now she's trying a different school to do a few things. So I get that. But a really cool idea that I think so many families don't realize is even possible is you can take online classes at community colleges and state colleges and then travel the world doing something like Workaway, where, for example, you could be in Europe, you could be backpacking, you could be volunteering at a nature preserve, you could be trying for acting in LA or New York, while you do college online at your local community college. And in California, students get free community college in their local county, and so for 2 years if they go right after high school. And so it's such a good opportunity. Also in California, we have something called Virtual California, and you're able to literally take classes at any of the community colleges virtually online. And so many students don't realize that is an option. Like, I know a lot of students doing online classes at our local community college for free because it's part of their Promise program, but they're also just staying at home, living at home. They could be off doing Workaway and really having an amazing time, traveling the world while they're still doing those online classes. So I love workaway.info because it's a way that you can barter all around the world doing things you love and also learning. So like, let's say someone wanted to study environmental science. You could go volunteer at a sustainable farm, at a turtle preserve, or something like that, while you're going to school to study environmental science, and get free room and board by giving 15 to 20 hours a week of your time, and really also building a resume. It's amazing the types of things that are out there. So I don't even know what else I've been saying. I'm rambling. So I will pause for now, but I guess the top 3 tips, if I can think of them now, were read the course catalog, don't overpay to have a vacation, and consider community college and local, cheap, and also the idea of traveling and doing online classes. Those are my 3 tips for today.